Iron Man VR is one of the most anticipated PSVR games of this year. For the first time, you can immerse yourself in a world that was created by Marvel, where you can take Tony Stark's superhero alter ego to fight the bad guys. In this latest PSVR exclusive, you get to play as Tony in and out of his suit. The game tries to tell a story through in-game cutscenes and dialogue, but partly because of the long loading screens, it never really seemed to grab my attention. The story is slightly entertaining, but is extremely predictable and lacking because of the poor written dialogues and because the chapters that follow up one another are almost unconnected to each other. When you start playing the game, all the options and controls can be a bit overwhelming. But once you're a few hours into the story, it isn't all that difficult. Flying around in Iron Man's suit while battling the many enemies is very enjoyable, although sometimes a bit hectic. Marvel's Iron Man takes place in a 360-degree open environment where you can choose to navigate through with either pushing turn buttons or looking in the direction you want to go in, or by using both. You can play in a seated position, however I do not recommend playing on a couch, since you need to put your hands literally everywhere to navigate this suit through the air. How to navigate is probably the most difficult task in terms of gameplay, especially during the time trial challenges. Generally, shooting down enemies isn't too difficult, but it is possible to lose track of their location during the hectic, fast-paced battles. It's worthwhile to mention as well that even though movement is quick and plenty, I didn't experience any motion sickness while playing, even though I have this with some of the other entirely free-to-move VR titles out there. During combat, you have the choice between a primary and secondary weapon, which can be used depending on how you position your hands to the screen. Both can be used with the same trigger, but the primary weapon can be activated by holding your hands in a fist straight forward, and the secondary can be used with your palm facing downwards. Then the secondary weapon will come out of your arms. It's a quick and functional way to switch various weapon types. Besides this, you can also use a power punch by holding one of the time buttons down on your controllers. By completing a chapter, you can unlock research points, depending on your score, to a maximum of 5 per mission. With these points, you can add new upgrades to your armor or craft a new type of weapon. You can see all options right from the start, and I never really felt like I needed to change any of the gear to proceed in the story. By completing certain goals, you can also unlock other color schemes for your suit, which you never really actually see since you're playing in first person. The only difference is that you can see the suit change when you're looking at your arms. The most annoying problem of Iron Man VR are the loading times. I've played on the PS4 Pro, and very often you will find yourself looking at a black screen just to end up at a loading screen that sometimes takes another minute before you arrive at the actual level. Since you are wearing a VR helmet all the time, they should have come up with something to reduce those dull loading moments by either looking at something fun or plain out reducing the loading times. In conclusion, I would say that Iron Man VR is a smooth VR experience without, as far as we have encountered, any bugs in it. The gameplay runs smooth, although sometimes a bit hectic, and the graphics are on par with most PSVR titles out there. Overall, it's a very nice VR game, except for the abundant and too lengthy loading times, even in between the dialogues, or in some cases when you need to restart. Its 8 to 12 hours campaign is longer than most VR titles out there, and there is some endgame content where you can retake the challenges and missions to unlock other suit upgrades or cosmetic upgrades, and try to unlock the trophies you've missed. The thing I did think about when playing this is how cool it is that you can now really get into Iron Man's suit and fly in the same fashion as we've seen in so many of the Marvel movies, which is, no matter how you look at it, a fun experience. When taking all of this into consideration, I will give Iron Man VR a 7 out of 10 points. I hope you've enjoyed this review, and if you did, please don't forget to leave us a like and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Have a nice day, and see you again.